City series cigars and Citrus 7s, black cement 3s, 4s, the hairs and bread 11s. No doubt that I'll be wearing some fire at any sighting. With these Dorenbecker 5s, you can see me in any lighting. It's exciting, I'll be flexing to the coldest degree.
What's up, everybody? It's Sneakerhead M Checks. I got the 2025 Galaxy Foamposites that just released Friday, February 21st. I definitely meant to have this video out days ago, and I almost always get my reviews out before release. This is such an important shoe to me, I had to get this out still, even if it was late. So as usual, we're going to take a close detailed look at the shoe from all angles. I'm going to put these on and step around them so y'all can see if they look on feet. I also have the original Galaxy Foams from 2012. So I'll be comparing these two throughout the video, and then I'll discuss all the differences. After that, I'm going to share my opinion on these, and then I'll talk about the release, reselling predictions, and all that stuff. So let's get right to it. Wow. The Galaxy Foams got a retro. Can't believe it, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Got this black suede here. Black laces, of course. That little silver strip coming up here. Penny logo right here. And they got the same remove before flight tag that the original pair came with. It's a little bit more I don't know, this one seems more flexible kind of, but yeah, same thing. Galaxy pattern all throughout the upper. It's very consistent shoe to shoe, which is kind of surprising for a shoe like this because there's some other releases that have like a pattern like this on them, and they're not always consistent shoe to shoe. So I really appreciate these for this. Let me just move this one on top so you guys can see what I'm talking about a little better. So you see how the colors are in the same exact spots, but more importantly, even the stars are like placed in the same exact area. So you can take any star in the shoe. I'm gonna use this little group right here. It's 3 right in a row. The bigger one towards the bottom, and then they get smaller as they go up. These 3 right here are in the same exact spot over here on this shoe, and like I said, you can do that with any star. This little one right here that's kind of like towards the bottom is right down here on this shoe. Like it's the same. Now it's not completely identical to the pattern on the 2012 pair, but as you can see, it is very similar. Actually, let me just put this back where it was so we can get the so they could be placed in the same spot. Yeah, I could really see. There we go. And same thing over here, obviously. It's the other side. Now the pattern is not the same on both sides. It is a little bit different. So if I zoom out a little bit, if you look at the other side again, you can see that the pattern is definitely not the same. But when we look at this side, like I was saying before, these patterns are identical. And like I said about the other side, it's not identical to the 2012 pair, but it's very similar. It's like putting one on top of the other. You see they both got the lighter blue towards the back. It's more like navy in the middle. You got purple on the toe. There's a little bit more purple on the 2012 toe than the 2025. I mean, they still have it, but it's a little deeper here. So like I'm saying, it's not exact, but like at first glance, unless you're comparing them like here, these look a lot, like the 2012 pair. Here's the back. Penny Hardaway logo up here. For those of you who don't know, this is a 1 and a cent sign. He wore number 1 and Penny Hardaway. That's why they have the cents. So yeah. But I've noticed that they changed the logo a little bit. The outer stitching is a little bit thinner, and the cent sign looks a little bit different. If you look at the 2012 pair, you can see what I'm talking about. You see how the stitching over here on the 1 is different, and the C is just a little bit like, I guess, flatter, you can say, and this end part kind of swoops down a little bit more. So I don't really know why they did that, because I actually think it looked better the way it was before, but not that big of a deal. All black inside. Insoles are navy and have the NASA inspired Nike logo on them. They come with cardboard shoe trees. Here's the outsole. It's translucent and glows in the dark, just like the originals. So I'm gonna show y'all them glowing in a second. And now before we do that, I just want to tell or show y'all how you get these to glow to their full potential. Because I feel like a lot of content creators love to show shoes glowing in the dark, but don't ever tell anybody how you go about making them glow. Because when nobody tells you, you think it's just common sense. You think the shoe just glows in the dark. No, these don't just glow in the dark just by themselves. What you really want to do is you want to take them and expose them as close as you can to some light. So you see I'm putting these right next to my ring light so they get that close exposure to light. When you don't expose them to light like this, the glow is going to be very faint. They need to be exposed to light. It doesn't have to be this extreme. Like, as long as they're in like a lit area and then you bring them to the dark, they should be fine. But I'm going to do the same thing with my 2012 pair, which isn't going to glow as bright as a 2025 pair just because over time these things fade a little bit. But regardless of how old the sole is, you always are going to need to expose them to light like this. So you don't need a ring light. You can use your phone, to be honest. Like if I didn't have this, I would probably just use my phone light. Let me show you what they look like with the lights off. Okay, so after being exposed to light, here's how they glow in the dark. The longer they're exposed, the closer they're exposed, the more the shoes are going to glow. Like I was just saying, the glow on the shoe does fade a little bit over time. So the 2012 pair, which is on the left, does not glow quite as bright as the 2025 pair. They come in this black Nike box with the Galaxy pattern on the logos. Way better than the box that the originals came in. I feel like we were so excited about this shoe, like nobody even really cared about what box it came in, but it's definitely nice to get this fancier one. So they got the Galaxy pattern on the paper inside. Looks nice. And an extra layer of white paper under. And then this little piece too. And here's the box label. Air Foamposite 1 Quick Strike and Obsidian, Anthracite, and Black. Here's a quick all-around view of the shoe. Alright, now let's see they look on feet.
I'm a player, you see how a nigga ball right. I shoot my shot, these hoes don't let me have an off night. She thinks she got it like that, I don't even care about her. I bag your bitch and fuck her twice and then forget about her. Take my new thing out and everybody staring at her. If the girl with me ain't fire, that's a rare encounter. Really, if I can, I be on the low. No money in the destination, I don't wanna go. I could link 'em with your girl and you would never know.
So in comparison to the original pair from 2012, the 2025 Galaxy Foamposites have a slightly different Galaxy pattern. Like I was saying earlier, it's really similar, like all around on all angles. It's just not identical. The Penny Hardaway logo on the back is a little bit different. You see here in the 2025 pair that outer stitching is a little bit thinner. The Sensan seems to be a little bit thicker on these, and the top part of it doesn't curl down as much as it does on the logo on the originals. And lastly, the color on the Penny logo on the front, as you can see, is a little bit different. But that's just because of age. The logo on the 2012 pair used to be gray like this. They've just discolored over time. You got that and the outsole that are discolored now due to age. But wow, I still can't believe they really released these again. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like I always say, nothing is safe when it comes to shoes re-releasing, and shit like this is exactly why I be saying that. But man, if you were into sneakers back in 2012 when these first came out, then you know where I'm coming from. Like this shoe changed sneakers for real. The hype on these was unbelievable. We had never seen anything like this before. Everybody wanted a pair. And Foamposites were at their peak. Phones were so lit at the time. Like phones were, I would say, probably like almost just as popular as Jordans were at that time. So coming out with something like this at that time was absolutely crazy. These definitely paved the way for sneakers today, where it's kind of almost normal now for a shoe to come out with like a $200 retail and then resell for thousands, like right out the gate. Like there were plenty of shoes that went for thousands back then, but it was usually older stuff that didn't release or had an extremely limited release. I'm talking like more limited than these, or something that had just been out for a while and was just that rare to get in like a particular condition, like some OG Jordans or something. But I feel like this was the first shoe to release to the public with a regular, I think, $220 retail, and then resold for over $1,000 in all sizes right away. And like I said, it wasn't the first time we saw a shoe sell for that amount in general. There was definitely plenty of other pairs going for, you know, over $1,000. And it definitely wasn't the first time we saw people go crazy over a sneaker release. You know, like we went through the 11s releases every Christmas where people was lined up, people were fighting, you know, you'd be lucky to get a pair. If you didn't get them, you had to pay a good $300, $400, $500. Like we were used to that, but these was on a whole nother level. Like seeing these be $1,000 to $1,500 right out the gate was insane. Like people were making a good
$800 to $1,000 immediately reselling these. We had never seen a hype sneaker release to this degree at that time. This is actually the first shoe that I ever paid 4 digits for. Back in 2012, I tried mad hard to get these at retail. I couldn't, and I was so thirsty for them that I borrowed money from my mans just so that I could buy a pair from a reseller. I remember I paid $1,120 exactly. And although that was a lot of money, especially to a 17-year-old back then, I never regretted it one bit. To this day, I'd still say it was worth every dollar. I was so hyped to get these. And when I wore these to school, man, I felt like that guy for real. I love my outfit. I broke mad necks. Shit was lit. I even ended up wearing these to my high school graduation. I wasn't doing no suit and tie or tux and none of that. I remember it was hot as hell that day, so I brought out the heat. But yeah, not to get off topic, but this is a very special shoe to me. One of my favorite sneakers of all time. I would say they're my favorite foams of all time, but I think they're a close second to the Paranorman foams. I really hope they don't ever re-release these. If they ever do, come check on me, because I might not be okay. I'm gonna be real upset. But yeah, I still can't believe Galaxy Foams are re-released. You know, when you own a pair like this, you really don't want them to re-release, especially when your pair is in good condition and you can still wear them with no issues. So I didn't want this to happen, but you know, that's how the sneaker shit goes. But they did a nice job on them. So looking on the bright side, I can keep these and keep them on ice just in case something ever happens to my babies. Just because I love the Galaxy Foam so much. Hopefully nothing ever happens to them. I have some really old Foamposites that I still wear, so I should be good. Seeing how Foamposite releases have been lately, I really didn't know what to expect for this release. Like I said, back in 2012, Foamposite was so hype. Every release was selling out, even with the high retail price they had. I don't know how they was getting us to pay $2 or $220 for some shoes that wasn't Jordans back in 2010, 2011, 2012. But we were, and we was doing it a lot. So doing a shoe that was that hot at the time in a colorway like this is why they went as crazy as they did. But being that foams are hot right now, I knew the demand for these wasn't going to be nearly as crazy as it was the first time. So I was really hoping they didn't make a lot of pairs of these, because I know a lot of the newer generation isn't into foams as it is, and so a lot of them probably aren't going to be into these even with the beautiful colorway that they have, which I could honestly really care less about personally, but I would just hate to see these brick. It was already tough enough to see that happen to the Nerf KD4s, but if it would have happened to these, it would really kill me. But even though, like I said, the hype on these is anything like it was before, I'm really happy to see that these didn't sit around like other foams have been. This is just a shoe that shouldn't ever sit around in stores under any circumstances. It just looks too crazy. I know a lot of people who wanted these back in 2012 but didn't popped out for this new pair. I've seen a lot of people posting pictures of them with captions that say things along those lines. So I think that demographic, along with the fact that this was a limited release, is the reason why these still managed to sell the way they did during a time where it seems like nobody cares about foams. I read somewhere where it said they only made 55,000 pairs of these. Not 100% sure if that's true or not, but based on the way the release went, that seems like it could be accurate. On Thursday, the day before release, market got as low as $385 in my size, and I started to think like maybe these was going to keep going down and end up being bricks like the Nerfs did. Especially once these released, and I saw mad got 'em screenshots from the sneakers app all over the internet. Like, I feel like mad people hit these for retail. But then I checked GOAT and I see that the market jumped almost $100 since the last time I checked, when it was like $385. So maybe it wasn't that many. But yeah, nice flip for resellers. I have my doubts on this because foams just aren't mainstream popular right now, but I feel like these might possibly be a good hold. It's just risky because foams aren't hot right now, and I feel like foams could make a comeback if they ever decide to come down a little bit on that retail. All they got to do is drop that to no more than 200. Honestly, really like a 170, 180 would probably change a lot. And then just drop some of the classic colorways. I know they've been dropping classic colorways here and there, but like I said, the retail's been so high, people don't even want to pay $230 for Jordans sometimes. So foams being $230 when they're not hot right now, it's not helping them. But yeah, if they would have lowered that retail, I really feel like they could come back. I don't know what the chances of that happening are, but if they were to come back for any reason, then these would end up being a great hold. But we don't know if that's gonna happen for sure though, so that's why it's risky. But even if foams in general don't make a comeback, like the colorway itself might just keep these up. But if this video was helpful on Foam in any way, I really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in more reviews like this or any other sneaker related content, please do us both a favor and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Once you're subscribed, make sure you tap that little bell icon next to the subscribe button and select all. That way when I put a new video out, you get notified, you won't miss out on anything. Thank you all for watching. Everybody, please stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll see you next time.